France. The RS-28 Sarmat thermonuclear armed ballistic missile was commissioned in 2011 and is expected to come into service in 2018. The first images of the massive missile were declassified on Sunday and have now been published for the first time. The RS-28 Sarmat, nicknamed Satan II by NATO, will be high on the list of the world's most deadly weapons. It was developed by the Makeyev Rocket Design Bureau and has been in the works since 2011. Sputnik, the Russian government-controlled news agency, reported in May that the missile could destroy an area the size of Texas or France. Russian media report that the missile will weigh up to 10 tons with the capacity to carry up to 10 tons of nuclear cargo. With the type of payload, it could deliver a blast some 2,000 times more powerful than the bombs dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Russia reportedly tested a hypersonic warhead in April that is apparently intended for use on the Satan II missiles. The warhead is designed to be impossible to intercept because it does not move on a set trajectory. The Satan II will also be much faster than its predecessor. The Perspective strategic missile system is being developed in order to assuredly and effectively fulfill objectives of nuclear deterrent by Russia's strategic forces, the statement reads, according to Russian Today, the Russian government-funded news site. Thank you.
Missile Defense Elevated Netted Sensor System, or 𝐏lans, is an advanced radar system that is intended for use by the Army, Air Force, and Navy as part of a larger air and missile defense network.
In simple terms, 𝐏lans is an elevated radar platform which is specifically designed to track and defeat land attack cruise missiles.
The objective of the system is to provide a long-range radar system that can detect small, low-flying targets like cruise missiles, as well as other airborne threats, so air defense systems can engage them sooner and with more accuracy. Radar works by sending out radio waves into the air. When the waves hit something like an aircraft, they bounce off, reflecting back to the radar system, and allowing the system to determine where the aircraft is. Unfortunately, other objects like tall buildings, hills, and mountains can block the radar waves and disrupt or limit that radar. Cruise missiles are designed to take advantage of this limitation by flying low to the ground along routes that allow them to hide behind terrain.
What the aerostat allows you to do is get above the ground clutter. The whole objective of this system is to provide protection for ground assets that cannot see through mountains or other forms of clutter.
Using large blimp-like balloons called aerostats, 𝐏lans seeks to counter the threat of low-flying missiles and aircraft by taking a powerful surveillance radar to altitude, allowing the system to look down from heights of up to 10,000 feet and over nearby terrain, eliminating blind spots and extending the range of the radar.
A surveillance radar is essentially has a 360-degree capability. It kind of sees everything at once.
Since the elevated radar must look down to detect and track missiles and aircraft, the radar also gets back lots of data on the ground beneath the airspace it's monitoring. For a normal radar, this would cause a lot of interference that could disrupt operations. 𝐏lans ground station, however, utilizes an advanced computer system that can filter out this ground clutter and leave the service members' view screens with a clear image of the air they are defending. Once a target has been located, a targeting radar system and a second aerostat can then lock onto the target and feed that data to air defense weapon systems. These systems would then be able to engage and destroy the target.
and track targets and develop firing solutions to hand off to other air defense platforms.
To lift the radar, the aerostats need to have some serious lifting power.
Obviously the radar, the cooling equipment, and some of the electronics that are associated with it are fairly heavy because they're obviously built to mil standards to withstand a military environment, a threat environment. So therefore it has to have enough lift to lift up a fair amount of weight.
To achieve this lift, each aerostat must be very large, almost the size of a football field. Visible from main post, the 𝐶lans site includes one aerostat, which will be interchangeably equipped with the surveillance or fire control radar, along with the 𝐶lans mobile mooring station that holds the aerostat in place, and the ground station composed of a data processing shelter, a signal processing shelter, and a communications and control station. The radar's long range, which covers an area larger than the state of New Mexico, allows it to monitor large operational areas, making the system valuable not only for the Army, but other services as well. Each service has different weapons and requirements, which 𝐶lans must meet if it is to work, and so extensive integration testing is required. For this reason, a single 𝐶lans aerostat has been brought to White Sands Missile Range. Over the next few months, the 𝐶lans system components will be checked out and its systems tested to prepare for integration with naval air defense systems and testing on White Sands Missile Range.
This has been going good. The weather, when it holds, helps out a lot. But yeah, so far the test has been going good. We've been meeting all the objectives that have been set out for us.
The naval requirements are the reason why White Sands Missile Range was chosen for these tests. Along with its extensive military-controlled airspace, White Sands Naval Detachment provides the right environment for the integration of this joint system into naval operations. In addition to the experienced sailors the Naval Detachment brings to the table, the Navy also commands the Desert Ship, a specialized test bunker on White Sands that simulates a ship at sea. The Desert Ship allows tests like this to be conducted in a realistic environment, using the same systems and configurations that a ship has, but with the control and data collection needed for testing. As the system is still in the early stages of development, at this time it is expected for 𝐶lans to be an ongoing presence on White Sands Missile Range for some time, while the system is further developed and tested.
The 250-foot blimp-like airship will float at about 10,000 feet, tethered to the ground at all times. Army officials say 𝐶lans will be able to detect cruise missile threats from upstate New York to Norfolk, Virginia.
With an elevated sensor, such as 𝐶lans, and the ability to look out over the horizon, now we have the ability to detect and to enable our systems to defeat cruise missiles.
A second 𝐶lans aerostat is expected to launch in late winter or early spring 2015. Both airships will stay aloft for a 3-year evaluation period.
The ceremony marks an historic occasion, the first flight demonstration of 𝐶lans. The Joint Land Attack Cruise Missile Defense Elevated Netted Sensor System, or 𝐶lans, is a product of the Army's Cruise Missile Defense Project Office.
We can track surface moving targets, we can track large caliber rockets, theater ballistic missiles.
The aerostat and its accompanying system represent half of a $1.4 billion program and is considered a critical component in the battle against enemy cruise missile attacks. The balloon extends 135 feet from ground to top, is 243 feet long, and weighs in at about 11,000 pounds, all connected to the ground by a tether packed with power and data.
This means that we're going to be able to take care of cruise missiles now. We can track the enemy, we can engage the enemy from this. It gives that type of high quality data.
Sergeant Earl Lundy calls 𝐶lans a blessing.